family. I'm Lily Tyrone. I'm married to Philip Tyrone, who is the son of Gloria and Ty Tyrone. And this is 4th of July, 2020. And I did some research on Ancestry on Grandma Gloria's mom's side. She's the daughter of Glenn and Eva Carnes. And Eva Carnes' maiden name is Beaman, and her roots in America go back to like the very beginning. So I figure in the spirit of the holiday, 4th of July, I wanted to share with the family some things that I found out. Okay, well, I decided to first go back to revolutionary, well, because, you know, it is 4th of July, revolutionary America. And I did find that you have several ancestors, and I'm sure there's many more, but I got 4 ancestors who fought. And it's funny because I couldn't find anybody who fought as a loyalist. They all fought as patriots for the United States of America. And you know one of them, it was Francis Beaman, Sr., and he was a Quaker. And there are a lot of conflicting stories on whether he did serve or not, but I did find an article that proved that he did, and it proved that he did because his heirs inherited 640 acres because he fought in the Revolutionary War on the side of the newly formed country. So you were only given that if you did fight. So he did fight, even though he was a Quaker and he was a pacifist. This is a funny little story. It must be your great uncle 4 times over, Jeremiah Beaman, who also fought for North Carolina, same as Francis Beaman. And but he's not your grandfather. I think he's like your great uncle 4 or 5 times over. And he was actually court-martialed. They brought him in front of the military, and they tried him because he was also a Quaker and decided to desert a bunch of times. And he actually spoke out against fighting. And he was sentenced to death on September 14th, 1779. But 4 days later, on September 18th, 1779, he was pardoned by none other than George Washington.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
By whom?
George Washington.
Yes,
General George
fascinating.
Washington. So I thought that was an interesting story.
That is amazing.
So, and another one of your ancestors, James Langdon, he's your 4th great-grandfather, and he's your 6th great-grandfather. He also fought in the Continental Army for North Carolina.
Wow.
William Nichols was a captain.
Jim Nichols.
Yeah, he was a captain of the Orange County Regiment in North Carolina, and his battles were actually labeled. He had the Battle of Cowan's Ford and Terrence Tavern on the same day, 2 battles fought. And Cowan's Ford, believe it or not, the commander of the British was none other than Lord Cornwallis, who was huge.
Wow.
So he fought against Cornwallis, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yes.
And then you have Solomon Stevenson, who also fought in the Johnston County Militia. So that's what I found out for the Revolutionary War.
That's amazing.
So you are a daughter of the Revolution.
And we are watching that TV series right now,
Yeah.
National Geographic.
Like, these are your ancestors, and they're deep, and you have a bunch more. I mean, a bunch more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I like to make jokes that Grandma Gloria is as American as apple pie, because she really
I
is.
should have made an apple.
Because she is. So then, so I did put here, here is the actual record of the Revolutionary War bounty land grants. And here is Francis Beaman, North Carolina. He was a private. And on the 10th of August, 1785, 640 acres were given to his heirs. So there you go.
Wow.
And here's the Beaman family arms. That's the crest
That's
for
awesome.
the Beamans.
That's amazing.
Isn't that?
So that's
Isn't that
the
something?
Beaman family crest.
Wow, Lily, thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Well, it
This
doesn't
is-
end there.
Wow. Oh, it
Because-
doesn't end there.
Because I figured why not go further back?
Yeah.
So we decided to go further back to the origins of the country. And we found your people. Your people are all over the place in the origins of the country.
Is that project you did with Lucas?
Well, Lucas, we went all the way back to Charlemagne, because you're,
Right.
you're related to a lot of royalty.
Wow.
Yes.
You
it
can
was
talk about that
Yes.
afterwards.
But since it's America's birthday, we're going to focus on
Yes,
America.
right.
So as you know, Gamaliel Beaman was the first to come over from England in 1635 on the Beaman side. But you also have many, many more ancestors who were here within the generation of the Mayflower, if not with that generation. So you have a very, very important ancestor who actually helped to, if you're in Pennsylvania and you say this last name, they know exactly who you're descended from. And this man, John Chew, married Sarah Bond,
How do you spell that?
Chew, just like Chew.
Two.
And they came over in 1622 and they landed in Jamestown, and he actually bought most of Hogs Island. He represented it in the House of Burgess in Virginia. And through him, he came on the boat called the Charity.
Sure.
And through him, you could actually apply to be a member of the Jamestown Society, which is very few people can do that, because you have to fit certain criteria, and your ancestor was literally, Jamestown was founded in 1607, and he came shortly after that.
Yeah.
Yep, which is pretty cool. And then you have Deacon Nathaniel Phelps, who came to Massachusetts in 1630.
He was a deacon?
He was a deacon.
Catholic deacon?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
These were Puritans.
Yeah.
They were coming
Yeah.
over to have their own Anglican, usually.
Yeah, Anglican.
Yeah. Andrew Warner in 1632 in Cambridge. John Howard Bartlett, 1635, Massachusetts. So all these, and there's many more, but unfortunately it takes a lot more digging to find certain ancestors. But literally, the Mayflower 1620. So we're talking, this is the very beginning.
Wow.
Very, very beginning. You lost ancestors to the Indians, a lot of fighting with the Indians, and it's just like so cool. Because even though it's not part of my ancestry, it's part of my kids' ancestry.
Part of the
And
church.
their kids' ancestry, and
Yeah.
and literally, like, these are the people that built
America.
John Young, who came in 1639 to be part of the very first colony in
Jamestown.
Hartford, Massachusetts. I'm not Massachusetts, I'm Connecticut, very first colony. So your people really emigrated here on the Beaman side from the very beginning.
That's
From the very
amazing.
beginning, which is really
Thank you
cool.
for doing that.
Yeah,
Gosh,
it's
that's
so
a
neat.
lot of work.
And I can't wait to travel with
Yeah.
the kids and Phil back east and find some of their tombstones,
fun.
and to find that, like, they were go-getters. Like John Chew, as soon as he got here, he got into politics and was in the House of Burgess.
Yeah.
And
Was he German?
he was English.
Okay, so did the Beamans, did they have any German in them?
They, I think it was more on your Carnes, but
Carnes
when you
times,
go
yeah.
back, way back in the
Yeah.
Beamans, and you go back to Charlemagne, and you go that far back,
Yes.
all those rulers were Germanic.
Mhm.
So you have German on both sides,
Yeah.
as you know. But yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mom, do you have any memories of 4th of July or anything
Oh,
like that that you
We
can share?
always had great 4th of Julys on the farm, mostly on the farm, I remember. We'd always make homemade ice cream with the cranker, yeah.
Wow.
And we'd have barbecue and no electricity when I was a little child, so that's all we could do is use the crank. We just had chicken, mostly fried chicken, and just had great memories. Mom and Dad gave us a good life.
Thanks for sharing
Do
those.
you have any questions?
Ava, thank you.
You're
welcome.
Thank you.
And then this is a whole biography on John Chew.
Wow,
And his
I'm
wife,
looking
Sarah.
forward to looking
If
at that.
someone wants to take a look at that. And
Yeah.
he's the one that emigrated in 1622.
Wow.
Wait.
Can we get that close up, that mom?
Okay.
That paper?
Any questions for the, for mom? Oh, Lucas.
Did any of us come in on the Mayflower or like any of those two boats?
Lucas, we
Not
came
on the
before.
Mayflower,
We came
but
before.
so the Mayflower 1620. Grandma has a lot of ancestors, like the Youngs and the Beamans, who did go into New England in the 1630s. So the next decade, they were here.
And I have another question.
Who? You?
Yes.
Earlier,
You said be smart.
like earlier in time, like
Yeah?
past Charlemagne, how
Should we-
many
should
kings
we
and
do
queens
that?
are you related to?
Well, I haven't finished the whole genealogy, but a lot. A lot. I mean, a lot.
What was the question? I missed the question.
How much royalty are they
Are they?
really to? A lot.
Oh, and
Like,
plus-
I mean, a lot. Like, I mean, from Italy to Spain to England to France and Germany. There's a lot.
Okay,
What, Ava? What are you gonna say? No.
I was gonna say, are we related to Hitler then?
No, he's not royalty. He wasn't
Yeah, he
royalty.
was, he was a horrible dictator.
I know.
Um,
That's why I brought
Lucas?
it up.
Another question. I don't know much about Dad's side.
That is dad's side. Grandma's side's dad's side.
Like
Unfortunately,
your side.
Yeah, we
my
moved
side
to-
and Grandpa's side is a little harder. I'm sure like 10 years from now there'll be better records, but unfortunately in Southern Europe, they didn't keep as good records as in the United States and Western Europe. Those records are still like very well maintained.
wow, that's amazing.
So with grandma's, we could go way back because her
To ancient
ancestry
times?
is 100% Western European and American, and the records are like really good.
That's
Go back
awesome.
to ancient times when they wrote in the dirt.
Yeah, they don't, those,
I don't think we'll ever go back that far.
any
Oh,
other
thank
thing,
you.
anything else,
That's
Mom?
great.
We're gonna
That's
write in the
Great,
dirt.
thank you for sharing. Happy 4th of July.
Yeah.
Thanks. Isn't that neat? You got some